We've jumped straight in, David.
Good.
We've jumped straight
I like
in.
it.
So we're here. We're in the podcast, the Martin Talk Show at Horrific, the Horror Film Festival. So, David, what brings you here?
Yeah, I've got 2 films screening this year. I screened the film last year. I love the festivals. Obviously, they have the horror version and the non-horror version, and they're always so welcoming, and the audience is great. And it's good having your films screening in actual cinema, because a lot of festivals do that. But then there's somewhere you might have, a room in a pub on a projector screen, and it's never better than when you're with an audience, with a big screen.
I guess that's why you made it.
Yeah, no, that's it. Because it's sort of like this dying thing now, where to get your film on a screen is rare, because obviously streaming and so any opportunity that I can get, because I make it for I make it for me, but I make it for an audience. Like, I write it in a way, to get a response, but also people can escape their daily lives for a little bit. Like, it's written that way. So a lot of my films aren't too heavy. Like, I do a bit of drama, horror, comedy, sci-fi, but and I do have themes I want to tackle, but I never go, because the world is so dark at the moment, but it has been for a while, and it's quite heavy, and I just don't want people to come to my film going, oh, what was the point of that? It's I want them to have a laugh. There can be tears now and again, but it's usually a laugh. And
it sounds to me like you're trying to hit a certain type of energy with your.
Absolutely.
We've jumped straight in, David. We've jumped straight in. I like it. So we're here. We're in the podcast, the Martin Talk Show at Horrific.
A comedy, so there's blood in it, there's tension, but it's. I've made it for an audience. I did a film that we won the audience award with called Eric, which is about a killer Pomeranian dog. And it went down really well. And because of the response, I did this new film, Nervous Eddie, which screened on Friday yesterday. And I did another film called Safe, which also screened. And they're quite similar. They're like horror comedies. It sort of has the tropes, Nervous Ellie is the sort of tension, anxiety, like when we know something's happening, we don't know what it is, but I'm asking the audience to stay with me. I give them little teases, and then you have this big payoff. And then with Safe, I use the whole, it's a guy in a mask with a knife, he's after this woman, but all isn't as it seems. There's a little twist to it, and I made them incredibly short. Like, Nervous Ellie is 6.5 minutes, and Safe is 90 seconds. And I've been to a lot of festivals, and I've judged at a lot of festivals, and a lot of films are clocking in at 20, 25 minutes. And I wanted to, Nervous Head is 6.5, and Safe is 90 seconds. It's basically to, even if you didn't like the film, I haven't taken too much time from you. That was and it's gone down really well. The audiences are really they respond really well. I think that I've started to call them palate cleansers. You'll have these big heavy films, and then you throw mine in, and it just eases everyone a little bit. There's still scares and creepiness and weirdness, but it's more I don't know if you've been that scared, but you laugh. It's quite close comedy and horror. You kind of you jump.
You're not kind of sure how.
Yeah,
to deal
and
with it.
sometimes you can be scared, but then you laugh because it's the it's that sort of.
It sounds to me like you're really trying to give the audience an experience.
Yeah, that's literally it. Because I've done short films that have clocked in around the 15, 20-minute mark, but there's certain shorts that work like a joke. You have a setup and a payoff. A lot of people's shorts are proof of concepts, and I get why they do it, because they're saying
calling cards. I hear that a lot at these festivals.
It's the only way to do it. It's really important. Whereas I was like, you know what, I'm going to do the joke thing. I'm not being preachy. I've got some themes and messages I want to tackle, but I'm not forcing it down your throat. I'm kind of here's this little fun film that you can escape with for a little bit.
That escapism thing in the cinema. And like you said earlier about being in being in a place like this to enjoy the film is so much different than if you was at home enjoying it on your laptop or your phone, how a lot of films are consumed now.
No, absolutely. And there was a time, I don't like mentioning the pandemic, but there was a lot.
It was so influential to a lot of us. It was a big moment in history.
Yeah.
So it comes up a lot in conversation.
Well, yeah, a lot of festivals were like toying with just staying virtual.
Yes, yeah.
And a lot of filmmakers kicked off, and like, even though it's good that you can't always attend festivals around the world, it was good to have that access to watch on your laptop. But it still doesn't beat. You can never beat, even if you've got the biggest screen at home, you can never beat being with a good audience, because I'm finding an audience these days are on the phones constantly. But when you go to festivals, they're a lot more behaved. And like...
Well, you've got like-minded people here, haven't you? You've got people, you're with a group of film lovers in a festival scenario.
And they appreciate it, you know, even if there's probably a film they don't particularly like, they'll still applaud for it, because they appreciate that a filmmaker and a talented group of people they did their best to bring this vision to life, and like to entertain someone for 5 to 25 minutes or whatever. And and I think there's so much appreciation with that, and that's why I love festivals, because it's just, and especially genre like horror, sci-fi, comedy. You feel like you're amongst your people, because there's just like a really good reaction to it. Like, and that's why I've loved it. Like, everyone seems to be on the same page. We've all got different tastes, but we've come here to have a good time.
Yeah.
And I love that about it.
Yeah, it's amazing to see, and even myself, I sit back and I look at this as kind of like an outsider. I'm a lover of film, not just like one genre. But I was standing there at the bar just outside just now and watching everyone connect, and seeing a lot of people that don't necessarily know each other connecting over a shared love and a shared passion, and that's really special to see.
It's something, because I've done a lot of drama films, and I don't like saying this, but a lot more of the serious festivals, right? And there's a mood, there's a shift. I feel like with genre, everyone's just more friendly. There isn't this like, oh, we're going for the award season, we've got like these top actors, like there feels like you're trying to like sell something. Whereas, I mean, we're all trying to get ahead, but with genre, it's just, there's a community that's so different, and like I feel like.
I wonder if everyone's cheering everyone on here a bit more
There is that, and I've felt it. I've travelled to festivals all around the world. I've been lucky that my films have been selected at some really good festivals, and every time I go to them, there's just so much love, and it's easy to get swept up in it. And I've actually made films based off that experience. Like, there's films I had tucked in my folders and stuff like that, but. I was like, oh, I want to make this because I want to recapture the experience, because I had so much fun. Because part of like being a filmmaker and spending all this time and energy making a film, when you get to travel with it, it's the best experience, because you get to see everyone else's films, you connect, there's this real strong, like you like you said, you want everyone to win.
Yes.
There's a little bit of competitive. We should all be competitive, but like. It's just like you just champion each other, and it's just a really good experience.
And it's interesting because I don't often think of this side of the filmmaking process. You write a script, you get your cast together, you get your crew together, you make the thing, and then I kind of guess as a consumer, as an audience member, it's just out there in the world. But for you, there's still stuff going on. There's still stuff happening. The part of the process of building that film is still alive for you.
No, absolutely. Like the films I've done, they're like, I shot them like a year and a half ago, but you still like travel to them. People use that analogy. It's like having a child that you teach them, they go off to college, and then you're sort of watching them grow. And I'm not saying it anyway, it's the same, but I get it, because you're kind of like, it is like your baby. You birth it, you come up with the concept, you make it, you get it to the best possible version it can be, and then you travel with it, and you want it to grow, you want it to get out there in the world, and then you end up doing it all over again.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's quite an interesting experience, and it's festivals that make it all worthwhile, because you get like if it's online or on a streaming service, you don't know how people are reacting to it. But if I can be in the cinema, and
you can be part of that experience as well. Then,
and when you write a scene, if you intended it to be like a comedic moment or a scare, and it hits and it lands, it's great. And then you get unsurprising reactions. Like my short Nervous Ellie, in no way did I want people to get emotional by it, but like I think, I don't know if it's think about the States, but I had people come up to me like crying, and I was like, did you watch the same film? And they just connected with the character in a completely different way. And all audiences are different. I've had just people going, oh, that's sick, that was fun. And then some people just really connect to it, and it's just very interesting.
I think in different cultures they do experience cinema in different ways. I've been to an American cinema once, and I was really surprised at the amount of cheering and whooping that was going on during the film. Because as a British audience member, we tend to be we're quiet, we're a lot more reserved.
I've got to say it's addictive.
What that whooping is.
Yeah, I've got to say the best screening I had was at Film Quest in Utah. It was just, oh my god, I can see it's like a drug. Like you're like, whoa, I don't know how real this is or how fake it is, but like I like this. Like everyone and then everyone coming up to you at the end, and you're like, oh wow, like I'm proud of it, but I didn't feel like it would get this response.
Yes,
and
that's amazing.
You kind of want to do it again and
again.
This
is taking me back to my cinema experience after COVID. The first time I revisited the cinema was to see Spider-Man: No Way Home.
I knew you was going to say that.
Did you know? Like that for me was one of the best cinema experiences of my life.
Same. That and Endgame, but I'm with you on the No Way Home, because it was that after the pandemic. It was like, I need something good. I need like this fun experience. And that's
what it was. It was just pure fun and entertainment. And do you know what? I've watched it on a rewatch at home since, and it doesn't work.
It doesn't, but I still like it.
But it's not the same.
Yeah,
thing.
I agree with you that when you get whatever generation grew up with whatever version of Spider-Man, I never thought we would see all three.
No, and they kept it quiet so well.
Yeah,
like there was leaked stuff that looked kind of like.
And you're kind of like, I don't think this is going to happen.
No, this can't be real. Like it looks a bit too. The images were a bit shoddy and stuff, and you was like, it's got to be leaked by now.
And
surely
Garfield did a good job.
He did a superb.
And you
job.
kind of think, oh, Tobey Maguire doesn't want to do this anymore.
Yes,
And my God, the cinema just erupted.
Yeah.
Like when
popcorn went everywhere, everyone was cheering, and then it settled down. The timing of that was perfect.
It was.
Everyone cheered when Andrew Garfield came on the screen. Everyone settled back down, and before you knew it, Tobey Maguire was there.
That's
and
it.
We erupted like twice as much.
It was the best. Even just having the Daredevil cameo, just it was so good. And that's a film that should not have happened really. Like the working parts of that is just insane. And but that's what it's become now. It's like films are. They're very far and few between. They're like events now. So you'll get like your Barbie and Oppenheimer. But because streaming is sort of like, people are like, why go to cinema that if it's going to be on streaming in like a couple of weeks? And that's a shame, because you can't recapture that experience with all these strangers. You're watching this moment. There's just something beautiful.
So I remember when I was young, the system was it would be at the cinema.
Yeah.
You'd wait 9 months to 12 months before it came out on VHS.
Yeah.
And then you'd watch it. You could go to the video shop and rent it. And there was still a period of time, I think, where you rented it first before you could actually buy it.
Well, I remember this. I've got a story. I might get arrested, but basically, one of my favorite films of all time is Terminator 2.
Yes,
and I remember that you, like you just said, you rent it, and then you had to wait. Like 6 months to own it. And we had a neighbor who had 2 VCRs and we rented it and we double recorded it. And I owned Terminator 2 before anyone could own it. And my brother said to me, I used to like Terminator 2, Dave, but then you watched it every single day and you've ruined it for me. But like that memory of I loved that film so much, and the fact that there was just something about it. And I think it's like anything. If we want something we can't have, right? So if you're giving everyone it all at once, like the days of the episode a week, the last time I remember that was with Traitors, where you'd get a couple of episodes a week, but because everything's so binged now and it's all there, we've become greedy.
Yes.
But I remember like shows like Lost and X-Files and Buffy and that, like one a week was the best.
The whole industry has just become like so oversaturated.
Yeah.
That we kind of are losing. We're losing interest in it.
We
aren't
are.
we?
And
I think of things that I should love, like Marvel, like Star Wars. Like I should be so excited when a new Star Wars thing comes out. I haven't watched half of it, and I don't really care either.
It's what I've heard is it's the whole like diluting the brand. You're getting too much of it, and it's too fast. When the Star Wars film came out, it was an event, and when you had years between it, it was just this special moment. And because it's like, you know, the whole thing with Bond being sold, the worry is, Amazon.
Similar thing.
Yeah, like Amazon's just going to do loads of spin-off TV shows. And I reckon the first couple things will be great.
Yes,
but it'll be too fast and it'll be diluted. Like, things are special, like, when you're not constantly getting a vast amount of it. And when you're getting too much, it becomes like everything else. And sorry to bring up trailers again. It's just one of those shows that I just love.
Yes,
but it's like I had to wait a year for the next series, and it's probably been the most watched series in a long time, especially in the UK, because we waited. We want to, like, you know, it's
want to know what's going to happen next week.
Yeah.
So I wonder if the industry has the power to return to the good old days.
Well, I read,
or are we also? Are we a little bit kind of over nostalgic in it?
Well, yeah, no, a lot of that we keep going backwards. We keep like doing our Beverly Hills Cop or Beetlejuice.
Yeah,
like it's like everyone now. Anytime something is made new and like it doesn't do well, we keep going back to the well. But the thing that concerns me the most is, right, and I read this, I'm sort of stealing it from somewhere, but it's really true, is right, streaming. There's so many streaming platforms, right? So streaming kind of ruined a lot of stuff, right? So it killed like DVD and everything. But if you look at it now, it's become, they're all channels again. Because you can actually buy a package which will include Paramount Plus and Netflix and Apple. So they're just channels. It's back to like Sky and or it's back to broadcast TV. So they kind of shook up the industry and ruined it. And the other thing is they all come with commercials now. The whole idea of like Netflix was, you don't have commercials, you can watch stuff on your time. And you can still do that, but they're essentially TV channels again. So they killed cinema and like killed DVDs to become what we had 20 years ago, because nobody wants to pay £7 or whatever it is now for 20 different things. So they're going to go, we'll give it all now
in a package.
But as a package, that's cable TV or whatever.
Well, I remember at one point, cable TV, I think when I first had my own home, I think I was paying about £80 a month for cable TV. But then you're right, Netflix came in at like £10 and you were like, like I don't need all the rest of this anymore. But it's gone back to that position of like, I need Netflix, I need Paramount, I need Disney, and like the list. The list is kind of becoming endless.
And what's worse about it is they don't do long running series as much because it costs too much money. So what they do is they hook you with a brand new series. You'll still have your big ones like, Stranger Things is finishing, but like, it's like the outcry when you see a series you like and then they just cut it off.
Well, I'm losing faith in the streaming services. I do still subscribe to Netflix, but I actually don't think I've watched it this year. Yeah. Like we're in March and I don't think I've turned it on because I'm not interested in engaging with anything new that has the potential of being cancelled on me.
And you've seen what they've done now is they used to do a full series, but they break it down in parts like Cobra Kai because someone's going to go, I want to watch those 4 episodes, but there's no point me cancelling for a couple of months when the next one's come out. I might as well keep it. Yeah. So they've done that. It's like they're drip feeding. It's like a drug. It's like they keep you on the hook for as long as possible. And it's sort of really sad. And also, it's seen as like content now more than ever. It's not like we want this new big show by this creative. I mean, that still exists, don't get me wrong, but it's like a popularity contest, and it is seen as just content. We need to get as much content on our service so we look better than the other services, and it's really sad.
So have you got any idea as a filmmaker how we can kind of return to that community space, that cinema experience, the things that we know we enjoyed and loved, that there's potentially a whole new generation coming along that doesn't know about that.
Well, sadly, no. And it's because social media is a big one. And like, I've been to the cinema over the last few years where it's actually acceptable now for everyone to pull out their phone and just watch stuff. So everyone's viewing.
Second viewing is...
And just everyone's viewing habits have changed. Like, it used to be a thing you'd be at home, you'd be on your phone and watch something, but now people have brought their viewing habits from home into the cinema. So that's changed. You'll still get your big event things like Barbenheimer and stuff like that, but I don't know how we get back. I still feel like it's kind of like records, right? There's a small amount of people that still buy records. It's still like...
Well, that's interesting. My daughter at Christmas, she's 16, and her Christmas present, she wanted records. She wanted LPs.
Amazing.
She wants to have that physical copy.
Exactly.
And a lot of 16-year-olds are doing this.
So yeah, there's a small group that still go to independent cinemas, like, and you'll get I think it's called Second Sights, where they do special exclusive like DVD or Blu-ray packages. I've just got Blair Witch and It Follows. So it'll be like a special edition that you only can buy from that website, and it'll become like a collectible item. That's where it's sort of becoming. I know, so I still have some DVDs and Blu-rays, but I'm not watching them because the ease of just
access is on.
And it is a shame because, and you're probably aware of this, but they will now cancel films, or they'll take films off streaming services, and you can't find them.
Yeah, and that's it done. And
sometimes they delete them, and they didn't release them on DVD or Blu-ray, so you can never get them. That's scary.
And so, what happens to stuff that we love, and we experience it once, and then it gets deleted? What do we do? Then that's the problem. With that, or it gets cancelled because it's not socially acceptable at the moment.
Yeah,
you have things like from my childhood, I loved something like Only Fools and Horses.
Yeah.
Now society has said a lot of them jokes don't fit with the current popular way of thinking, and it doesn't fit this time. But it was a comedy of the time.
Yeah, I'm with you on all this. Like, it's stuff with like IT Crowd, or I watched In Between this movie last night, and it's still one of the hardest I've ever laughed at the cinema with that film, and it came at the right point, the right time for me. But rewatching it now, I was like, that joke wouldn't fly, that joke wouldn't fly, and same with like American Office, that joke wouldn't fly, that joke wouldn't fly. I'm still of the mind. I have a dark sense of humour. I see, it's like when comedians tackle a subject that might upset people, I'm like, it's a joke. Nothing should be off limits. But I do see, like, when it's like trigger warnings or some message at the beginning, like, I don't mind a message where it says, this was of a time, they don't reflect the way, blah, 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 whatever it's called. And that's fine, because like, I've heard now that, like teenagers, like sex in films, they don't want to see it. Like, that's become a new thing. So you're seeing a lot of like films and TV shows being a little bit watered down. Yeah. And it's something we just got to adjust with. But I think that's why...
Should we be deleting content from
No,
the past?
I don't agree with that. I feel like you have a warning, that's fine. But like you say, Only Fools, I love that show. And it was made of a time when we were very different. It's like the whole argument with... like the Friends TV show, you would have a completely diverse cast now, and that's but over time, like,
I guess we're moving forward, and if we delete these things, we won't understand what's come before and why we've moved forward.
You need to see how much we've changed. I do feel like it come with a warning, absolutely, and I actually think it's really positive because we are making changes. We're being more inclusive, and I think that's really important. But deleting, I just don't agree with it.
It kind of moves into that area of freedom of speech, freedom of thought. That if we delete the entertainment that we've had in the past, just because it doesn't fit with the topics of now and the sensibilities of now, how are we going to learn? How are we going to continue to move forward? How are we going to grow as society?
We have a choice, and there's certain comedians that upset people. Just don't watch that comedian.
Yeah.
I like how someone like Ricky Gervais he'll be on the joke, like in on the joke, like he'll know that he's upset someone, but he'll have this really great response. It's almost like he's baiting them because they're not really getting what he's trying to do. And he's making fun of that because it's like, no, I'm joking about it, but people will get so upset about it, and he'll always have a good response. But if he's a comedian that you don't like, just don't watch him. Like, I just feel like
we have a choice of what we consume.
This
if it doesn't fit with you, you go and find something else.
And
like,
everyone's different. And I'm not the most political person, but everyone has an opinion. And like, I might not agree with that opinion, and I just choose not to listen to that, and I'll move on. And like, I surround myself with people that I have a lot in common with. We share the same values and stuff like that. It's very tricky, and I think now everyone's got a platform to make.
You can get a microphone and put yourself out there in the world. And
absolutely. I kind of stay out of that stuff, and my films are not, you know, when I write, it's generally more from a personal thing. I'm not trying to, because films can be powerful, right? You can change the world with it. You can bring like a viewpoint that gets people thinking a certain way, and I think those films are really important, and that's great. But I still stay out of the, like, what I want to do is I just want to entertain, and I will still put in stuff that's important to me and personal. But it's like I'm creating art. I don't want to change the world with it. I just want people to escape for a little bit. You know what I mean? And that, and
that's a powerful thing to do. That's an amazing thing to be able to do, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
We live in a great time where that is available to us. You know that. Yeah. How long cinema been around for? Just like around 100 years.
Yeah.
Before that, you couldn't. You know, that format, that escapism wasn't there. Yeah. And I feel like we experienced, our generation kind of experienced the best of that, and that's why we're so passionate about keeping it.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been a really important and wonderful conversation.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Thank you for sharing. Before we wrap this up, I just want to know about you a little bit more personally, and what your hopes and dreams. We've talked a lot about the past.
Yeah.
So, what do you hope the future looks like for you personally?
Well, I'm a bit of a dreamer. Like, I'm one of those rare people that kind of knew what they wanted to do at such a young age, and selfishly, I've been, you know, I've made so many shorts, music videos, and they're always self-funded, and I want to get to a place where I can do it professionally. I can make something where people are getting paid. I want to just work in a system where you can create art, but people, like, you're not just asking for freebies, and like getting your art out there, and just moving forward, because the industry it's really tough to crack at the moment. And I was of the mind that you make something that does well and people notice that, and then it's easier. It just feels like I've been hustling for 20 years, and you know, I'm 40 now, and I still haven't made a feature, and I've been trying for a long time, and it just feels like it's so tricky and difficult to do. And I guess I want to be able to do what I've always dreamed of doing, and it not be easy, because it's always difficult, but I just feel like if you've put in the time, and reward is the wrong word, but I just feel like you do that. It's like you do well at school, you get good grades, and you hope you get a good job, right? You've made a lot of like short films, and like I thought that would be enough to someone to go, hey, we love what you've done, let's make
here's the opportunity to do the next thing.
I just feel the opportunities are so scarce. Like they keep coming out with these schemes, and like they always love reporting, we had 20,000 applicants and these 2 people got it.
Yes, yeah.
It's just tough out there, and you've got to keep going. It's tough for everyone, but it's like, I do feel like if you've proven, even if it is festival laurels and awards and that sort of thing, I do feel like that should be taken into account now, because you've proven. And if people like your stuff, isn't that the proof? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That more people would.
Well, I think you've kind of touched on like the key there. I think for me personally is that keep going thing.
Yeah.
That you may not have kind of cracked the dream yet, but I do believe that I've seen people that have got the dream have done that through consistency and persistence of not giving up on it. And it sounds to me like that's a possibility for you if you keep moving forward in the same way.
That's it. You got to just keep going. That's what it ultimately becomes. And, you know, have your little timeouts. I think that's important.
Yes. Have your little pauses, maybe, and I think that helps influence what you do as well.
Absolutely.
That coming away from, like, if you're hustling in the industry for 20 years, similar with me, I was hustling as an actor for 20 years and it wasn't working for me. But coming away from that, I managed to refine myself by taking the pause on that time of just. So whilst consistency helps and works and gets you somewhere, it can also hinder you because you go blinkered.
Yeah.
You kind of go, all right, I'm determined. I've already done like 20 years of this. I've got to keep going in the same direction. But if you take a pause, you might be able to take a step back and look at the big
new
picture.
Experiences as well. I remember traveling to Thailand for the first time, and that just like broadened my horizon a lot more. And like I would write differently because I'd meet new people, have new experiences. Because I think if you just stay, around the same group of people in the same area, how are you going to advance? You're only going to look at films and TV shows as your way for new information. But if you go on, like if you have new experiences, all this stuff's going to happen to you. And like I'm one of those people that if something just crazy happens, that's going in something, that's going in the script, and like, and that I like that original stuff because you couldn't write that. So when it happens like organically
in real life, and then that will influence
Absolutely.
your art.
And that's how you have original like stories or moments, because you're like, someone could go, no way that happened. I'm like, no, it did. It happened to me. And like, I think those are the best stories, like especially if you're doing.
Well, they resonate with people, don't they? They're the things that resonate. They're the things that connect.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Well, again, thank you so much for sharing, David. Now, where do we find out more about you? Where do we find your films if we want to check them out?
Yeah, so David Yorke Films on Instagram and davidyorke.com. Like, so I've got a lot of shorts, music videos. Like, I mainly do a lot of genre stuff, but I've done a lot of dramas. Like, I like being versatile. I like, it doesn't matter what the story is, or it's, I don't like being pigeonholed is what I'm saying. I do love horror and genre. Like, it's got the best sort of like crowds, but like I love just telling straight stories, and so you can see all my stuff there. I'm currently trying to like make my first feature. Like, I'm just trying to give it the best chance it can have. Like, I'm trying to get a really good team together, and I don't want to make it and then it just sort of dies and becomes like in the bin of, streaming. So I'm trying to give it the best chance possible. And for that to happen, you've got to have the best team. And I just don't want to go in super fast. I want to do the best job possible, because I might only get one opportunity to do it. And because everyone's trying to do it. And I feel like you do have to stand out and you've got to give it the care it needs. So, that's me at the moment, and I'm doing more festivals with the films that are playing here, which are Nervous Alien Safe, and they've been really received like really well, and everyone's been like really kind, and I'm just continuing to travel with that, and hopefully shoot the feature this year.
Amazing. Well, I look forward to following your journey.
Cheers,
and seeing your current film and seeing this feature getting made.
Hopefully,
I believe in it, David.
Thanks, man.
Well, thank you so much. And if anyone has been watching or listening, thank you for joining us for this conversation. Thank you.
Thanks.
Cheers.